I don't have friends. I got family.
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 Said Han was family.
Disrespecting my whole family.
All right, welcome back to the Unnamed Movie Car Podcast, recording at you live from London, I believe.
It was
a lot
pretty
of
much
Europe. I think some of Spain,
there's
too.
some London. I think it was...
I don't know. All over Europe.
Yeah,
we watched Fast and Furious 6 to end out Fast and Furious February.
Yeah.
This will be our final Fast and Furious movie, probably, hopefully, for the year. I think next February we'll pick up and finish off the series.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be... I mean, you might as well just finish it up.
It's a special time of year. It's like Christmas in February almost to do Fast and Furious.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, so yeah.
Also, the final movie by Justin Lin for a little bit. He
true.
ended up
That
doing
is,
the ninth
that is
movie.
True. That is true, yeah.
But he did Tokyo Drift through the 6th, and then he repicked up for the 9th.
He did for the 9th?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So speaking of which,
I didn't think he did.
I have a spoiler for the 9th
what
movie.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to hear it when it naturally comes up in conversation? I'm not telling you what it is now.
Okay.
Or do you want no spoilers and we'll wait a year?
No, no. I'll do the spoiler now.
Okay.
But after our 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, of course
okay.
after the 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but
'cause we
like,
got
I
10
didn't
minutes
want to be talking about it.
All right.
And then if you didn't want the spoiler, then
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, I have a spoiler for this because I think you could put the pieces together.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we're not talking about that topic right now, so I wanted to get that out.
Yeah, and we're also using some new equipment, so if it sounds different,
Yeah,
hopefully
let us
it'll
know.
sound
And
good. Yeah,
the equipment also failed us. This is our second attempt at recording this intro.
So I wasn't really happy with that. But anyway, we'll see what happens with this.
But if you're new to the show, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel or to Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. But also, we wait 10 minutes before we start talking about the movie in case you do change your mind, you want to go watch it yourself.
Exactly.
We highly recommend having seen the movie coming into this podcast.
Yeah,
that's actually why we put them out on Saturday mornings. That was my theory behind it.
Right.
Is because Saturday morning cartoons was kind of the idea, and also like
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, they put out a podcast about this. I'll watch it this weekend and listen to the podcast and get their thoughts and whatnot.
Yeah, so it's just fun. It's all good. Shout outs to Paul Shin as usual.
Paul Shin, Craig Lieberman, who did not work on this movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, but shout out anyway. So, our typical shout outs that we do every time. So
yes.
Yeah, and hopefully we're also going to see Cam Cooley pretty soon. I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in the States.
Podcast alum. Oh,
yeah,
he made it to the States.
He's in the States, so I'm actually going to contact him and see if
definitely let him know
what's going on with that. So if not, we now have the ability to have people call in, so we can have people call in and stuff.
But I hope to have some more people actually in person on the podcast. It's been fun when we've done it in the past.
It has been. It's more fun to actually have people sitting here and stuff, and we've enjoyed that. We've actually had a bunch of guests last year. So
we've had George twice. We've had Nick twice.
Oh yeah, that's right. We
had
Nick
Cam.
James. Yep.
And I think that's it so far.
Leo.
Of course, Leo. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of anybody else. No, I think we're good with that.
Yeah, we'll definitely have more guests on, and we enjoy that, and I'm sure you guys enjoy a breath of fresh air from our voices.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have much of a pre-show really,
really?
organized.
I didn't know if you had like any trivia.
No, I've
games,
done it in the past.
Okay.
I should. I'm excited to see what you pick for the next movie, getting out of this Fast and Furious rut.
Yes, we're going to definitely get out of it because these are... so the movie that I'm choosing for next time, I'll give you a little hint.
Okay.
It's not a very well-known movie.
Interesting.
So so we'll see.
Also, something interesting about
Fast and Furious, really well-known. This one, not so much. Yep.
I was doing a bunch of research today because I didn't have to work today, and I had that little procedure done and all that stuff. And so
but you did a ton of work though. You were outside snowblowing.
I snowblowed 3 driveways.
We're in the Midwest, so you have to snowblow.
We got like probably 5 or 6 inches over the last 24 hours.
Pretty good amount.
And then I had a procedure done. I had a
Yes,
mole
you did.
removed
Yeah,
from my
so-
chest.
And
I got to smell burning flesh for the first time.
It's nice. Nice. That's
while
good.
she was doing it, the
good.
lady who was taking my mole off, I was like, "What's that smell?" And she's like, "You don't want to know." And then when she wrapped up,
What?
I was like,
Seriously?
"What?"
That's
and,
what she said.
And then at the end, I was like, "So what was that smell?" And she's like, "That's burning flesh."
Yeah,
She's like, "I was cauterizing
nice.
it," and I was like,
Nice.
"Oh."
It's good.
So I know what
good
my
smell.
personal burning flesh smells like now.
Not many people know what the smell of their own burning flesh smells like.
Yeah. You know what? It was a little barbecue-y. I'm not kidding. Like, it wasn't appetizing at all, but I was like,
It was like a spicy nacho.
Yeah,
It was like it was like
I'm actually a Doritos Locos Taco on the inside.
Yeah,
But
I think that's it.
So I had
okay.
some downtime
All
today. I
right.
played a lot of Minecraft.
Did you?
But
You played Minecraft?
yeah, so here's the thing.
Okay. All
So
right,
I
here you go.
repicked up Minecraft because
Yes.
you guys found a flash drive when we got our kitchen
Yes.
redone.
Yeah.
And on that flash drive was a
Yeah.
Minecraft world.
Oh, that's right.
The
Yes,
very
yeah.
first Minecraft world
Yeah.
I ever built.
Yeah,
and I
that's
am
cool.
so happy I did this. When I first discovered the first Minecraft map I ever loaded up, ever,
Okay.
in 2011,
Yeah.
I started building a little world, and I built
Yeah.
a house, and I built all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I put a little plaque because you could write little signs in the game.
You can?
Yes, you could and you could type out. You get 4 lines, and you can type out whatever you want. And on every building I built, I put a date. I named the building, and I put the date that I finished
Wow.
it.
Good for
So
you.
I found that, or you guys found this flash drive.
Yeah.
I booted it up to my computer, and it had all of these houses and buildings,
Yeah.
and I ended up building like railroad systems. I mean, I put hundreds of hours. into this.
Railroad systems?
Oh yeah.
How do you? Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not even going to ask you. How
And I
you put
start
a
walking
railroad
around.
Yeah.
These houses are over 10 years old.
system. Yeah.
Like
were they haunted?
actually, probably. And so like
So it was-
on top of one of the
Yeah.
houses, I built a farm,
Oh wow.
and I had cows
Wow.
and sheep and chicken up there. And I'm like, these cows
Yeah.
are a decade old.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. So in cow years, it's like 70.
Right.
I don't
And
know,
so
it's like
I started.
It's very old.
I walled it off.
Yeah.
I built a giant wall, and then I started building a new settlement, and I continued doing like the plaques. So it's like this house was built January
okay.
20th, 2022.
Yeah. Cool.
But I've found an
That's cool.
issue with it.
Uh-oh.
I've been going through the woods and stuff
Yeah.
because there's a huge. Basically, I built my settlement in the woods, right?
Yeah. And it's haunted?
No, it's not. Although there is a spider spawner that
what?
spawns giant spiders by my house.
Does that just keep working? Never mind. Go on. Go ahead
Yes.
about this forest.
Oh, wow. So
Yes, while you're gone, but go ahead about the forest or whatever.
So
you
this
wanna
world
do.
has
Yeah.
been around for almost 11 years. In
Yes.
October, it'll be 11 years that this world has existed.
Yeah. But like does it go on and on?
Yeah. So Minecraft worlds are actually infinite.
Yeah, but I mean, is it like somewhere in the cloud where it's constantly working, moving?
Oh, no.
Okay,
It's only when you're spawned in.
got it. Okay.
So like basically, if I planted a seed,
yeah.
logged out 10 years, and then came back, the seed would grow a little bit. It's
okay.
in game stuff.
All right.
But I did run into an issue because the world
Yeah.
is so old.
Yeah.
My forests are overran with animals. I need to go on like a killing spree because everywhere I look, there is a freaking sheep or cow
Oh my
just
gosh.
walking around, and I'm like, there's too much.
Wow.
Because they do recreate in the game, which it's
Oh, they
not.
do?
Well, like
That's-
literally,
alright.
they just stand next to each other, and then
Yeah.
you just see a tiny one appear.
No.
Yes. So
Okay.
literally today, I'm like, I need to start killing these sheep.
Yeah. Well,
I need to run around and start a
Yeah.
massacre of sheep because there's just too many.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the actual lambs.
Yep.
Anyway, I had the
Wow.
day off today, so thank
Hey,
you.
ho,
hey,
hey.
I'll be here all week.
Okay. Yeah.
So I started doing some more research on the movie. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of trivia for the 6th, which we'll get to in 2 minutes.
Yep.
But I learned that there's a bunch of offshoots of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Is there?
Well, we'll get
Besides
into
Calvin
one.
and Hobbes.
We'll get into one earlier.
Okay.
But you remember the turbocharged prelude that sort of, it's a short film. It's like 5 minutes.
Oh right. Yeah.
That
yeah,
connects
Mhm.
1
Yes,
to 2.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
There's another one
Yeah.
that happens, I believe, just before 4.
Yeah.
There's like a 15-minute short film that they made. And it's not called Fast and Furious. It's called like Bailando or something, or Blanco.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. Yeah. I think I've heard of that.
So there's that offshoot. We'll talk about
Yeah.
another technical prequel that's not a Fast and Furious movie.
Okay.
There's
Alright.
a spin-off with not Calvin and Hobbes. Now you have me thinking Calvin and Hobbes.
Hobbs and Shaw?
Hobbs and
That's,
Shaw
yeah,
is the
the,
spin-off. There's an animated kids series on Netflix.
Really?
Yes. I think it takes place with Dominic Toretto's son, but it's like
Oh, okay.
it's the same animation style as
Yeah.
Paw Patrol.
Oh,
I'm
really?
not kidding you. Yes. I think it's called like Fast and Friends or
Wow.
something. It's like it's a kids show.
Okay.
It's
And
really
do they
weird.
and do they have car shows with half-naked women? You know, and
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
We
yeah.
should-
They
we should
always
watch
do
that.
car shows. They always have it at the car shows.
They always
It's
go to
the
car
same.
meets
Yeah,
and
the car meets, right? The car meets, not car shows, but the car meets.
which I was very big into car meet culture for a long time.
Right. And that's exactly how it happens in real car meets.
so
it is exactly the same. Oh, wait a minute.
10 minutes so we can give spoilers now.
All right,
but
that
just,
Ecto 1
just to
siren
wrap up
means-
that
yeah.
thought, car
Okay,
meets
so-
suck so bad now. They're so bad.
All right.
Because like you go to a car meet and it's no longer people that actually care about cars.
Yeah.
It's people that have nothing to do on a Friday night and just meet up. And it's like kids in their mom's Ford Focuses with spray painted
Alright,
black
okay.
wheels. And like, yes, I was there. I
Who would
painted,
spray paint their wheels black?
I plastered it, to be fair.
Blasted dip, I know.
Um,
All right, fine.
But I never did too atrocious modifications.
Right.
I never
Yeah,
did. I never did neon lights under the car.
No, you never did that.
I never did an added spoiler
yeah.
or anything like that.
I think we were told
yeah.
too. I think we also were told, I think by the cops that, you know, you can't have neon under your car anyway. So
yeah, it's
that's
super
one of the things
illegal.
we didn't. One of the things we never did.
Yeah,
But,
but
I mean,
yeah, car meets are just terrible. But let's get into Fast and Furious 6.
yes.
What were your
let's
thoughts?
do that. You know, again, entertaining, fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's one of those. It's eye candy. It's just okay, interesting. Say goodbye to physics. The
This
laws
one
of
really.
physics.
You thought the safe was saying
my
goodbye to
gosh.
physics. The safe
Oh
is relatively
my
plausible.
gosh, yeah.
Relatively. The way it smashed the
maybe-
buildings,
Yeah, maybe kind of, but
I don't think two Chargers would pull it.
yeah, right, exactly. I don't
But
think so.
the jump between the highway
The jump
bridges.
between the highways. I actually watched that.
How'd you know a car was going to be there?
I know.
Yeah.
No, it's what's funny is that it's like I watched that scene in slow motion,
Yeah.
frame by frame. It is flipping hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty
because
bad.
there is actually like frames where all you see is the woman's body
Mm-hmm.
flailing through the middle of the air, and she's got nothing around her.
Yeah.
There's no way that if you make that jump, you're not going to end up in a world of pain.
Oh,
no matter.
100%.
And then they crash into a car window, like that's a soft cushion.
Right. Yeah.
That's a car window that just
Yeah.
shattered on your back. You broke every bone in your body.
Not to mention, you would go straight through the glass too. Like the glass like stops.
Yeah.
Like and they're
Right.
still on top of the
Right.
glass. You would be in the driver's
You'd
seat
be-
of that poor Mercedes.
not only that,
that
and if-
W124, whatever it
Was
was.
it?
I think so.
If you watch that,
Mm-hmm.
again, the other thing is, okay, not only have the laws of physics been completely obliterated
Mm-hmm.
because he's launched himself, Dominic Toretto has launched himself into the air, and it would have to be perfect timing. Not only that, when he grabs her, there is no physical reaction to his body, only hers. Her body is redirected.
Right.
So how did that happen? His body, because it's in the middle of the air, they're both in the middle of the air. They both would have reacted physics
And just fallen through the middle of the highway.
They probably would. Yes, they probably would have stopped.
Yeah.
It was like his body had more gravity
Yeah.
associated with it than she did, and he was able to change and bend time and
Yeah. You really have to throw physics out the window for this
Yeah.
one.
Well, you got a tank.
Yeah.
You got a tank that's rolling over everything. And the other thing is, that tank is rolling over people in cars.
Yeah. They never talk about the loss of life in these movies.
A ton.
Which, to be fair, there never was a loss of life before.
Yeah.
5 maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't
5.
like that, probably, but
5. Well, I'm talking about innocent loss of life.
Right,
5. There was
right.
probably
This
some
one-
innocent bystanders
yeah.
that were killed,
this
like
one,
the cops. This one, yeah, tons.
lots of. I mean, because they show the tank rolling over cars, where it's rolling over the driver's side. It is literally obliterating the car. There's no way those people.
That
would
actually
survive.
is an interesting thought. I didn't realize until just now the fact that Fast and Furious 6 is the first time where the threat of the movie is a giant threat to civilization and not just the people involved. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. That
the
is
fourth
true.
one, the first 3 were about cars.
Yeah, just
The fourth one, drug running between the border. The
Yeah, that's
innocent
fine.
people
It's
aren't
okay.
really in trouble there.
Yeah.
The fifth one, there's that safe scene, but you're stealing money from the mob.
Right, from a drug dealer mob guy.
Not
It's
really
it's
any
not really-
threat to
No. This one,
public.
yeah.
But
this
now
one.
you have an actual bad guy that's not just a drug guy.
Yeah.
It's an actual villain
right
in the more traditional superhero villain sense rather than
Right.
he wants to see the world collapse.
Yeah, and he's a pretty good nasty bad guy. Now his name is Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Now how does that work with the next guy?
Brother.
Is his brother?
Brother. Jason Statham.
No.
Yes.
He's
So here's what the Fast
what?
So here's what the Fast and Furious
Okay.
franchise does.
All right.
They add siblings wherever they can. So
Okay.
then in the ninth
All right,
one,
yeah.
I guess this isn't really a spoiler, kind of is a spoiler.
Okay.
The ninth one has John Cena. in it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, John
yeah,
Cena.
Yeah, okay.
He's Dominic's brother.
oh,
That is never mentioned in the first
he's
8
never-
films.
Why? Yeah.
Neither
he-
Dom nor Mia, who's Dom's sister,
right.
mentions a brother.
So how does that work?
I don't know. They just tossed it in. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. It's lazy writing. You just throw every. You know,
So
throw
yeah,
people.
so Jason Statham is Schaub's brother, also a Shaw or Shaw. Did I say Schaub?
You said Schaubs.
I was thinking of Brendan Schaub, the fighter and comedian. Shaw, sorry.
Shaw,
Jason
okay.
Statham is
All right.
Shaw's brother.
Jason Statham. I say that 10
Jason
times.
Statham.
Jason Statham is Shaw's half brother.
No, real brother, just
Real
brother, just
okay.
brother, regular brother.
But why did he say? So
then
is
he
Shaw
ends
the
up-
last name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So then he ends up killing Han in the end credit scene
Yeah.
in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift
Okay. Why?
to get back at the whole gang for killing his brother.
Oh, okay.
And then the 7th movie is against Jason
Okay.
Statham, who is the other Shaw brother.
Yeah, but I thought doesn't he like then work with?
I don't know how he works with The Rock then.
With The Rock,
I don't
and
know
they
how
become
that
like
transition is made.
they become
and
like
it pissed a lot of people off because he killed
Yeah.
Han.
right.
And now he's working with...
Now he's working with Shaw or
Yeah.
Hobbs. He's working with
Also-
Hobbs. That's all craziness. That's all.
We've now seen shut up. We've seen Han die twice.
Yes, we
Right?
have. Yes, we have.
Yes.
And I
In
watched
Tokyo
it twice.
Drift.
I watched
in Fast
it
and
twice.
Furious 6. It's the same
Very
scene, but he gets
carefully.
killed twice.
Yeah.
My spoiler is that he is alive in Fast and Furious 9.
Oh my gosh. Son, what?
I found that out on accident today. They revive him.
Oh, you know what? Wait, no. His car blew up.
His car flips upside down
Yeah,
and
his
blows
car
up.
flips upside
Yeah.
down and blows. So, okay, so here's a good point.
Yeah.
Medicine
Mm-hmm.
and physical physiology, everything out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this one, you've got Letty. Now, Letty has convenient amnesia where she can remember how to drive. She
Mm-hmm. Right.
can remember how to do
Yeah.
everything else in life, but she doesn't remember Dominic Toretto. And
Well,
so
she remembers him a little bit because she shoots him, and then she gives this weird look into camera, like, and then
did I just
walks
shoot a
away.
friend?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
So yeah, thanks, Letty. Thanks so much. That's such a nice thing to do. No, but so she conveniently forgets about him. She hasn't. Okay, so first of all, let me just go back to the elephant in the room here. She's alive.
Right.
Okay, so in this movie,
This movie is kind of about her.
it is.
Yeah.
And she's alive. Okay, so she was, for all intents and purposes, dead.
Right.
She
was killed in the 4th one.
She was killed in the 4th one.
Dead for all of the 5th.
Yeah, that's right. She was dead for the 5th. And then, right, so now
Post credit of the 5th, Hobbs,
Right.
Jesus, Hobbs reveals the security camera footage of her taken a week ago.
Right.
And he says, "Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah,
I wake
right.
up at 4 a.m. to work out." And then that's like
Wait,
The Rock's
no,
big
I told
thing.
you that.
No, that's The Rock's big thing. He wakes up every morning at 4 to work out.
I know, but didn't I tell you that?
I mean, you might have, but it's all over the internet too. I just recently watched a video, this guy on YouTube, and he
Yeah.
was like, "I'm doing The Rock's routine today."
Oh, gosh.
And he wakes up at 4 a.m., does cardio twice before 8. And he's like, "Dude, this sucks."
Cardio twice?
The
Before
Rock
it-
does 2 workouts before 8, which is like,
Yeah, he
that's
does
just
a-
one workout with a break in the middle, my guy.
Yeah,
like,
but he
what do you-
does but he also does weights as well.
Yeah.
So you do cardio and you do weights. I don't know why he does both every day. I don't know why.
Those shoulders scream HGH to me, but it's fine. The Rock has an open invite to the show at any time.
Anytime.
At any time.
Anytime. I actually think he's a cool guy.
I think so
just-
too.
yeah,
I think so
just
too.
think it's
It's just like wild seeing all of his Instagram posts and his big smile.
yeah,
And it's just like that's
exactly,
just a
yeah.
level of human that I just won't achieve. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
like he works out twice
Who will?
before
Yeah.
8 a.m. and
Right.
then he like private jets to film one of his 87
Right.
movies coming
Yes.
out this year, and then
he does a lot
makes
of movies.
fun of Kevin Hart and then goes to sleep. It's insane. Like I was very happy. I had 2 doctor's appointments today, and I came home. And I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
Yeah.
and I loaded that sucker up.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And I was like, I deserve this today. And then that was my day. And then I played Minecraft, and I'm pooped. I'm
well,
tired.
no, but you did all the shoveling. You shoveled all the
I did
snow.
snow blow
It's
3
a lot of
driveways,
stuff.
which was a
It's lot
pain
of
in the
stuff.
neck.
It
But
was, yeah.
I'm still not on the Rock's level. I'm just saying that.
I know.
Anyway,
Yeah.
if you die in the Fast and Furious franchise, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You didn't die. No one died. No one died. No one died.
It's interesting seeing who the producers of the Fast and Furious franchise don't really care about, because Vince died in the 5th, right?
yeah. Is he alive?
No.
Where's he at?
No, he
Where's
didn't get a
Vince?
revival.
Vince is just always angry. In
Also,
every
Paul
movie he's
Walker
in.
didn't get a revival, but he died in real life. So
Wow. Yeah.
I'm surprised that they didn't carry on with his brother in CGI, honestly.
Yeah.
Although I think in the
Someday they might come back with it though,
in
because
the 8th or 9th, they have a family gathering, and you see the blue skyline pull into the driveway, but you don't see
well,
Paul. or-
plus now every year deepfake gets better and better.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
And it is terrifying. And we talked about this before. The voice also, now they have the ability to completely redo someone's voice. And so
also,
you
well,
can deepfake a voice.
Paul
as well as the
Walker's
face.
brother Cody actually filled in for him in the 7th
Right.
movie a
Yes.
little bit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cody Walker, by the way.
Yeah.
He has a very low mileage 10th anniversary Mazda RX-7 Turbo 2.
Okay.
He collects a bunch of cars. Paul Walker collected a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
Paul
He
Walker
was a
was a
big-
huge car guy.
Yeah, exactly,
But his
yeah.
brother also has a super clean, like one of the lowest mileage RX-7 10th anniversaries out there. So
Yeah.
one of 1,500 made, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to them. But
Yeah, that's very cool.
yes, so if you die, you don't die, apparently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
But also,
Yeah.
with my notes here, I have
Okay.
a couple of notes
All right, good.
I'd like to get to if my
All
phone
right,
will
let's
unlock.
let's do that then.
This one I kind of regret the note a little bit, and I'll share.
Okay.
I said, I hate how everyone is a weapons expert.
Yes, that
Which is very true.
It is true.
However,
But why-
I retracted a little bit because of Han, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, because
Yeah.
I was like, Han was just into cars.
Right.
How was he good with guns? But we'll talk about that a little bit
Everyone
later on.
carried a gun, though. Everyone had a gun in
But
this
Gal
one.
Gadot's character,
Yeah.
she was just kind of like this like henchman's like,
Well, you
like,
remember my
hot
list
friend.
from last time.
well, yeah.
Oh, utilities and weapons.
Yeah.
Utilities and weapons. What the heck is utilities?
Where did
But-
she get this like specialist knowledge
Right,
too?
because it wasn't like she was. Well, they did say she was in the military, but everybody was.
guess,
in the
but,
military,
like,
I guess.
also in this movie, The Rock is like, there's only one team that can pull this off.
Right.
Really, in
Yes.
all of the world,
all the world,
the number
all the
one
world.
team are these jabronis.
Yeah.
They stole a safe of money.
Yes.
They're the number one team.
They are the number one team, Zach. The number one team. No one else in the world could do this and pull it off.
That was so where he's like, there's only one guy that could pull this off, and it's Dominic Toretto. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, because it's Dominic Toretto.
My other note,
Yeah.
more great music.
Yes.
Fantastic music.
Yeah, it
And
was
actually,
fun.
at one point,
yeah.
they did play a Dead Mouse song.
Did
Do you
they?
remember Dead Mouse?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was so. I
He
used
has a
to.
master class, by the way.
Yeah,
He has a master
super
class
cool
on that.
guy.
Yeah.
He actually also has a Ferrari 458.
Okay.
Dead Mouse, the music creator.
Yeah.
And he put a. Do you remember Nyan Cat? The
Yes,
little
yeah,
Pop-Tart
yeah,
cat.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he put that in a wrap on the side of his Ferrari.
Oh,
he
okay,
wrapped
yeah.
it blue, gave it stars and stuff,
Okay,
and put
so
Nyan
not a
Cat
rap,
on the side.
not a rap music, but
No,
like
no,
a
no,
rap
like
on the car, like a
like
vinyl
visual-
rap.
Yes.
Vinyl rap, yeah.
And Ferrari sent him a cease and desist.
What?
They apparently they do this quite frequently. If you're doing, even if you outright buy the car,
Yeah.
if you do something that they think will hurt their image, they send cease and assist like it's bread and butter.
Really?
Yeah. There was a guy
Wow.
who,
Okay, for that reason alone, I am not buying a Ferrari.
yeah, that's the one reason.
That is the one reason.
There's a guy
I want
who's
my
gonna
freedom.
a guy was gonna 4-rotor rotary swap a Ferrari, which would have been
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah,
Would
it
have made
would've
like
been cool,
1,000
yeah.
horsepower, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Ferrari sent him a cease and assist. You can't do that. You can't modify one of our cars in that way.
Wow.
There was a guy who also wrapped his Ferrari, I believe it was a 458 or maybe a 488, to match the shoes that he was selling, and he was
Yeah.
using it in promotional
Oh, okay,
pictures,
yeah.
like the shoes in front of the car
Yeah.
that was the same color.
Yeah, okay.
Ferrari sent a cease and assist. So Ferrari is like, you don't do stuff we don't like.
So when you go and buy a Ferrari, do
Mm-hmm.
you sign a paper that says you might get a cease and desist letter? Like you
I don't know. I don't know that process. Never bought a
that's-
Ferrari
yeah, I
personally.
don't
Never actually driven a Ferrari. But Ferrari's weird like that.
Okay.
They're very much about like getting in the system and stuff, to the point where they released a car called the La Ferrari,
yes,
which translates
right,
to the Ferrari.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And
That's original.
in order to buy one,
Yeah.
you have to have owned 5 previous Ferraris
Oh my gosh.
to even be allowed to put your name in the basket to get a La Ferrari.
Wow. Okay. Whatever.
So it's insane. Speaking of all this stuff, total
Yeah,
tangent.
okay.
Speaking of our good friend John Cena.
We never go off on tangents.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of our good friend John Cena that shows up in the 9th one.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Ford had a stipulation in their contracts for when they sold you a new Ford GT when they released them in
Okay. Yeah.
2017.
Seriously, they had a stipulation on
They
that?
had a thing that you couldn't sell it for 2 years. You had to
Oh.
keep, because they didn't want people to buy them for the, I think they went for like $200,000 or $300,000. They were only making a certain amount of them.
Yeah.
They didn't want people to buy them and then flip them for like $1 million because they were so rare.
Okay, I see.
So you had to keep them for 2 years. John Cena
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
broke that contract. He
Oh, okay.
he ended up selling it after like a year. I think he had to pay Ford like thousands of dollars because he
Jeez.
did that.
All
So
right.
whatever.
I know that the G6 they
Oh,
came
yeah.
they came after us on the G6.
Pontiac G6 that we sold for $700.
Exactly. They came after us and said, "Yeah, don't spray paint the wheels black." It's,
Yeah.
we don't like-
But getting back to the movie,
Yeah.
the other
that's
slight
right. Talking about the movie,
inconsistency,
that's right. Yes.
is the runway length.
Oh,
at the end of
my
the movie.
God. So that's one. I have several, but that's one of them. The
Okay.
length of the runway, the length of the scene. Do you have notes on that? Like
I do have
okay,
notes.
Good.
So,
Let's hear that. Let's hear it.
Some nerd, sorry, probably a great person,
Awesome. I love when
awesome
people do
person.
this.
figured out how long the runway would be, considering the
Lo-
speed
yeah.
of the plane and how long the sequence is.
Yes, please go ahead because this is cool.
They said at least
Yes.
the very shortest that runway could have been, and
Yes.
that's running end to end, would be 18 miles. And with a upwards
18 miles. I can't. No, I don't have anything for that.
Oh, did it not
No,
go?
I was gonna do it. But
Okay.
it's 18 miles. Okay.
We're still recording though, right?
I think we are. Yeah, we're still.
Okay, cool. Wait,
We're having
equip-
some
yeah.
technical issues.
Our
so,
equipment's
yeah.
been on the fritz a
I
little
think
bit.
you're right though. I think it was the power cord. Anyway, yeah.
Upwards, there have been estimates if the plane was going faster, going slower.
Right.
So between 18 and 28 miles long,
Oh,
the runway would have to be.
okay, so
18 was the short
18 is
side.
the shortest.
Bare minimum, in order to film that scene, it would have had to have been an 18-mile runway.
And granted, when you're watching it, you don't really think about it until you think about it.
yeah,
Once
until you start
they just-
noticing,
yeah,
and you're
when
like,
you said-
they still haven't taken off yet? The longest runway in the world.
Yes.
Longest
Yes.
runway
Longest.
is in China,
It is? Okay.
and it is 3.4 miles long, which
So
actually
this
is a seriously long
That
runway.
is a very long runway, but this is 6 times.
Yes.
6 times.
At minimum.
At minimum,
minimum.
the length in a straight line, because it's not wavering. You have 18 miles.
Right. Of flat,
Yeah,
level ground. At that point, the curvature
Wow.
of the earth has to play a part, right?
It does, I think.
I mean-
oh my gosh, yeah. The
So there's an
runway,
ending
yeah.
plane scene.
That's a lot of pavement.
Yeah.
A lot of
Oh
pavement.
my
yeah.
God. Paving 18 miles of wide,
Of
super
absolutely
flat.
perfect
Yeah.
flat. Yeah, absolutely. And keeping that all perfect and pristine. Yeah. I don't think that's happening. Yeah. That is
Yeah.
definitely one of my, like, in this movie you go, wait, what?
Once you start thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, this plane's
Yeah.
still moving.
Right.
There's a whole sequence. People die. Like, so much is going on in this sequence. And then you start to realize,
Yeah, there's a lot
this
going
plane's
on.
been moving and trying to take off for like 15 minutes.
And when you watch it when you watch it again, because you will, watch the pilot's reactions, because the pilots are like, we are flying the plane. And,
Yeah.
And they're not bothered by anything else going on. They got cars hanging off
Yeah.
of it, left and right. On both sides of the plane, there's cars literally hanging off of the plane. We have to fly the plane.
Also, seemingly the nose cone is just made of paper mache or something because a car pops right through it.
Yes. Well, actually, planes are. The frame has to be strong, but a lot of times the
actual
skin,
metal?
the skin, the metal is pretty.
But wouldn't there be
flimsy, but-
some type of reinforcement at the nose?
Well,
Because
I'm
it
sure
probably
there would,
takes
yeah.
the most pressure, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm
from-
sure, but it's
the movie,
and the whole
so.
thing of him coming out of the flames. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a huge
continue on, but that is a huge inconsistency.
My other last note before we get into cars actually has to do with Han again. So
okay,
I learned this. I had heard about this, but I actually dove into it for this movie.
yeah.
So Han is actually in another movie that's not Fast and Furious related.
Oh, well, as an actor or the character?
No, as the character.
the
Han.
character.
Yes.
Well, wait, huh?
So,
Okay, what is
Justin
this?
Lin, who directed these 4 movies that
Yes.
we did for February,
Yes.
he directed a movie called Better Luck Tomorrow in 2002.
Okay.
So this was before any of the Fast and Furious was ever filmed.
Yeah.
And there was a character played by the same actor who went by Han in the movie.
Oh. Okay.
In the movie Better Luck Tomorrow. It was a sort of gangster movie where Han and his cousin would steal tests and test results.
Oh. Okay.
And they end up getting involved with drugs and stuff, and there's some shootouts, which is why I was like, oh, I guess Han actually has handled a gun before. So this was just a standalone movie,
Okay.
Han and
Well-
his cousin. And Han is chain smoking throughout the whole movie.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
So
well,
later
that's
on-
for that particular
Right. So-
social.
When Justin Lin was like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
directing this movie, Tokyo Drift, I forgot the name of the actor. Kang, right?
Yeah, Kang.
Sun Kang?
I think Kang. I want
Yeah.
to say Sun Kang. Yeah.
He tried out for the role of Sean, the Southern boy.
No,
Originally, like in a
really?
very early draft
for 2 for
for Tokyo Drift.
Drift 3. Yeah.
So then Justin Lin
Okay.
was like, I don't think you're right for Sean, but what if you reprised your role as Han from the movie Better Luck Tomorrow and just played that same character? And they ended up writing him in and making, Han this character with a little bit of a seedy past and taking money from the Yakuza and all this stuff. And so technically, Justin
Yeah.
Lin and the actor Sung Kang have confirmed that Han from Better Luck Tomorrow, I believe it's an independent film from 2002, is the same Han that goes throughout the rest of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Does he also fly a Millennium Falcon
No.
that made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs? I
Oh,
think
yeah?
it's 12. No. Anyway, yeah. No,
But something interesting about that, I brought up the smoking, and we've talked about that before.
yes, definitely. That is a good point.
Either Universal or Paramount. I forget who did this. Who does the Fast and Furious? Is it Universal?
I believe
It is Universal because there's a ride. There's
Oh,
a
right. Yes, yes.
yeah.
Wait,
You-
there's a Fast and Furious ride?
Yes, and people have reviewed it, and they said it's like one of the worst rides.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Okay, all
bad.
right.
But they did not like the chain smoking on screen. They were like, you can't have a character chain smoking
for Universal, yeah,
throughout Universal. So they switched him to eating chips all the time.
All the time. He eats,
So yeah, technically I think we should watch Better Luck Tomorrow.
Okay.
Because that is the same character. It is the same Han that then gets involved in street racing and meets Sean and then meets Dom and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, we should definitely do that. And by the way, I believe that his character Han also does not eat anything else because he's not like heavy. Like the dude is still like
he just
thin,
eats chips,
and he must just eat chips and never eat a meal because literally, if I ate that many bags of chips or was constantly eating either chips or nuts or whatever, I would be about 40,000 tons. about the weight of the airplane that they used in the movie. It really, I mean, it's when you're constantly eating stuff like that. Oh my gosh! But lots and lots. I have lots of like little things in the movie.
Okay. Do you want to get to that, or do you want to do Cars? Up to you.
Let's do Cars first, and then I'll do some of my little observations.
Because I do have an observation about one of the cars that really pissed me off.
All right.
So, a couple of the notable cars. First of all, of course, we have Dom's 1969 Charger.
Now, is it always the 69 Charger in all
68
the movies?
or 69.
Okay,
and then basically in the rest of the movies, they're like any old Mopar.
Yeah,
so he's been seen in Road Runners.
Yeah, right.
He's been seen in pretty much anything. A Plymouth, you know.
Isn't he in a Superbird? At some point, he's in a Superbird.
In this one, it's a Superbird kit, but it's listed as a 69 Charger.
Is it? Because he has like the tail and the nose. Okay, all right, yeah.
The Superbird, I found out, was just a nose cone and a giant wing put onto a Charger. I always thought it was a completely different car.
Oh, yeah, it's not a separate one. It's just a.
No, it is the same car. So,
right. So okay, all right. So it is kind of cool. I remember I think I either had a model or I had a slot car.
Those go for big money. Huge money.
Well, okay, so when we do are we going to do a
Crown Vic Charger?
Crown Vic.
Should we do a
Charger.
Superbird?
We'll do a Superbird.
Ooh,
Wouldn't that be
really cool? Yeah.
Because it would be like so rare.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh, look at that. And it would be like, that cost us like $48.
Yeah, this is a 500,000 mile New York City taxi underneath.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be fun. We should do that.
The next car.
Okay, so next car.
The 2010 Alfa Romeo Julietta. So I want to bring this one up. It's the little hatchback that they're driving on the runway, and I think is the one that pops through. No, that's the Charger that pops through the nose cone. That little red hatchback that they're driving.
Yes.
Which I think is super cool. Never sold here in the U.S., sadly. And I wanted to bring this one up because it's definitely those are one of the cars that, like, when I go to Europe would be very high on my list of film because they're weird and quirky and different, and they were never sold here. Yeah. So it's very enticing to me. And I love the fact that it's named the Alfa Romeo Julietta. So like Romeo and Juliet, kind of. It's an Alfa Romeo.
That. Hey.
They were made with 1.4 liter inline fours. This one in the movie had a 1.75 liter, which is a weird displacement, turbo, and it made 232 horsepower in that little hatchback.
Really?
They're zippy.
It is zippy.
They also made them in 1.6 or 2 liter diesels. Because Europe loves their diesels.
Yeah.
This next one, this is the one that I had the problems with.
Okay.
So there's that chase sequence where we meet the flip car, which I think is a really cool villain car.
Yeah, you know what? I did think that was a really cool car. Yeah.
But they're all chasing him in identical 2010 BMW M5s.
Oh.
All those black cars that they're chasing the flip car in.
Okay.
Tyrese is in one. Paul Walker's in one. Dom's. Those are all identical BMWs.
Right.
Which they never explain how they got them, besides the fact that Hobbs picked them.
Okay.
Because they're later at that car show, and they're talking about... He was like, I thought those M5s were good. And he starts rattling off stats and statistics about the car, and Ludacris is like, you can read the brochure.
Yes, he does. He says that.
Which is a great line.
I see you brochure. Yeah. But he doesn't say like that, though.
The Rock was reading all the wrong statistics.
He was?
So... At the time that the movie came out, 2013, they had for like a year and a half released the new M5. Yeah. And he was listing off those new M5 stats. Yeah. But the ones that they used in the movie was the previous generation M5.
Oh.
So The Rock says, Oh, but those are twin turbo V8s. No, they weren't.
Okay.
They were 5-liter V10s.
Totally called him out on that.
I'm just like, he read, it was all correct info, but it was for the wrong generation.
Oh, all right, fine.
Which is funny also, because the ones that they used had V10s, not twin turbo V8s, like he said. Those V10s in those cars that they did use are so problematic.
Are they really?
They have huge rod bearing issues.
Oh.
So basically the rod bearings are known to fail at like 40,000 miles, and it sends the whole engine with it. So you can find those V10s. People have found them for like $5,000.
Wow.
You could buy a BMW M5 V10. Makes like, I don't know if I wrote it down here. Oh yeah, they make 500 horsepower.
Wow.
Where the twin turbo V8s made like 560 horsepower. They made more
but
power,
then
but
wouldn't it throw the bearing again or whatever? Wouldn't it if it had problems with that?
wait, what do you mean?
I mean, you're saying that the engine was having problems,
Right. So in the cars that they use in the movie, they're all chasing the flip
Yeah.
car and these black
But what
BMWs. Those have 5-liter V10s.
But what I'm saying is, if you picked up one for $6,000,
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever-
100%. That's why they're $6,000, is because
Okay.
the service to fix the engines is like $15,000.
Oh. Yeah,
It's just
okay.
like the IMS bearing in old Porsche 911s and Boxsters. I mean,
Oh,
you can
okay.
find an old Boxer for like, my friend Kira was actually, she's not into cars at all.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I found this Porsche Boxer for like $4,000. Like, it'd be fun to have a little convertible. I have some extra cash." And I'm like, "Don't do it."
Yeah.
The IMS bearing fails and it takes the whole engine with it.
Wow.
So those BMW M5s in the movie had rod bearing issues, and it was just so funny that he named off these stats. And
Yeah,
Ludacris didn't
yeah,
call them
yeah.
out either.
Yeah.
He used all the wrong stats for the wrong generation of car. And it makes me wonder if they filmed that scene first, where they're walking through the car show.
Maybe, yeah.
And then they're like, why buy 5 brand new M5s when we can get older M5s?
Right, which is, I mean, I okay, so I totally
Yeah.
get that. I totally.
That's what I'm thinking.
But if I was thinking. So here's the funny thing. I'm thinking, if you realize that while you're filming, what would you do? And I thought what they could do is pull Ludacris back into the studio, have him do a
ADR.
voiceover, ADR, have him do a voiceover where he says, "Yeah, those are the right stats for last year's model." And then what they would do is show a reaction shot of The Rock, because I'm
Yeah.
sure they got a bunch of shots of him looking at Ludacris. And you wouldn't see Ludacris saying it. You'd hear him while you have
Yeah.
it, while you show The Rock, and that's how you would get it. That's
Yeah.
how you'd fix it. Okay, I just saved Universal a ton of money. You're welcome.
They just don't, and it's just like blatant stuff like that.
I
They
know.
just don't.
I
care.
know. I totally get it.
Other cars, 1974 Ford Escort Rs 2000. So that is the blue car that Brian is driving during the tank scene.
Oh,
Little
right. Yes.
Big fog lights on
Yes.
it. I love Ford
but
Escorts.
he mentioned something about that, about how cool that car is. That's like an iconic sports car.
Yeah, so that was really big in the rallying scene
Yes,
back in the 70s.
that's what he says, yeah.
Which is when rallying kind of came to fruition. The 80s were really, in my opinion, the peak of rallying. You had Group B Rally, which was like the most insane rally series in the world. We've
Yeah.
talked about Group B before.
Yeah.
And if we can ever find a documentary about Group B, I would love to watch it. They called them the Killer Bees. But this was a 74 Ford Escort, a 2-liter inline 4,
Okay.
making 100 horsepower at 110 and could top out at 100 miles an hour.
Wow.
So
Okay.
you're chasing down these cars. Brian would have been left in the dust. It had to have been hopped up. I'm sure it was hopped up.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that was hopped up.
I just love those little Ford Escorts. I
very
really,
cool.
really do.
very cool.
Also, before we get to the flip car,
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't notice, but in the final scene where the Veilslide RX-7 is drifting right before Han gets killed, in the
Yeah,
end credit
right,
scene,
right.
there is a crystal white Suzuki Carry, also known as the AutoZam Scrum, right in front of the RX-7.
Okay, I did not.
That's
know.
right, baby.
Wow.
K-Trucks.
K-Truck.
So for those of you who don't know, Suzuki
okay.
Carry /
Yeah.
AutoZam Scrum, because Mazda was reselling Suzukis at this point in the early 90s. It's a little K-Truck. K-Trucks are basically shrunken down pickup trucks that conform to a special dimensions requirement and engine displacement requirement to get a tax break in Japan. It costs less to park these cars. It costs less to maintain them, and they're called K cars, KEI. Please go look at KEI cars. They're very interesting, and it's a really interesting case study on how laws can actually influence how a vehicle is made and designed. Anyway,
That's cool.
I petitioned for my parents to sell our 2004 Chrysler Pacifica in favor of one of these Suzuki Carries / AutoZam Scrums, which I think Scrum is a hilarious word.
Yes.
But yes, there is a white one exactly like the one I think you should get, and it's right in front of the RX-7 before he gets killed. Possibly, maybe that's what saves him. Maybe he was like, is that an AutoZam Scrum? You know? Maybe it's...
maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it's important to the scenario.
Maybe.
Also...
Maybe Vince comes back in a Scrum.
It was Vince in the Scrum.
No, and you know, Scrum
I never snitched on nobody. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was funny. And it was like in the perfect spec, too.
Yeah, and... yes, and that's actually very fun. I didn't notice that at all.
Also, side part, did you notice that Shaw crashes into him in a silver Mercedes?
Yes.
Silver big body S550 Mercedes.
It is, yeah.
What is with Japan and big silver Mercedes?
I don't know, but it is the exact same car as they showed in Tokyo Drift.
Which is good, yeah.
Yeah, which is good. But I went back, and that was one of my things, is that I went back and watched both movies in that scene where Hans is in the car. And I wanted to see how closely they matched the two scenes. And honestly, the car does blow up with him in it. Yeah. I mean, you see Shaw.
Well, you see his face upside down, and then it cuts to a wide of it blowing up.
Yeah, it does cut to a wide.
I'm sure that's where they found their gap of like.
Well, so maybe the K truck pulled him out. Like the guy who was driving the K truck pulled him out, and it was Vince.
Quick, get that Suzuki Carry K truck with the 660cc rear-mounted 3-cylinder.
With the guy named Vince behind the wheel who never ratted on nobody. Yeah, let's get him.
I think that actually might have been Vin Diesel's line. I'd never ratted on nobody.
Really? Oh, okay,
you didn't believe me about the Buster. That was Vince's line.
Okay, fine.
Or him just being stuck on the side of a semi with the barbed wire stuck in his arm.
Oh,
you remember that cable was like ripping into his arm?
Yes.
That was very gruesome as a kid.
It was.
The original Fast and Furious.
That was the first movie, though.
Last but not least for the cars.
Okay.
The flip car.
Oh, yes.
2 of them.
I thought it was really cool.
Super, super cool.
Very, very cool.
And this is where they start building super custom cars for these movies. So it's powered by an LS V8. I believe it's an LS3, so Corvette engine, essentially.
Right.
Bread and butter. They make this one made 500 horsepower. You do an intake exhaust, they make 500 horsepower. They're super stout motors. LS is basically the go-to for V8s. And it also featured rear wheel steering, which was really cool. Did you notice that?
Oh, I didn't notice that. No, that's
so
good.
So it had a second steering rack, and I thought it was a weird CGI glitch.
Yeah.
But when I looked at it, it was like weaving through traffic.
Yes, I noticed
the
that.
The rear wheels were actually steering with the front wheels.
Wait, so did they both steer?
Yeah, so rear wheel steering is actually a real thing. Do you know this?
Right. Yes, I did, but I didn't know, and I didn't catch it on there, but I did see it glide back and forth, and I thought it was the same thing. I thought it was like a CGI glitch.
Or like the animator was just like, that's not how a car physically works, which honestly, with this film series, I would have just accepted.
In the world of Fast and Furious, you can do anything.
So rear wheel steering is very, very interesting. There's different setups, but there's some cars that at slow speeds, so like in parking lots, when you turn the front wheels left, the rear wheels turn right.
Right.
They oppose it, so your turning circle is smaller.
Right. Your turning radius.
But above, I think it's like above 15 miles an hour, it switches. And so when you turn your front wheels left, it turns the rear wheels left, so you can merge.
Oh, that's wild.
Like on the highway.
What car is that?
The older Chevy trucks from the early 2000s, if you got the 2500s.
No.
Yeah, I had a friend with one. They're super rare. They're called quadristeers.
Yeah.
I've never reviewed one, but my friend had one.
That
I
is weird.
thought I reviewed an 8.1 liter V8 Suburban 2500, and I thought it had quadristeer, and I was so excited. And I even did like a 2-minute talking portion in the video about the quadristeer.
Yeah, it didn't have it.
I got out to film the quadristeer, and it did not have quadristeer, so I cut that whole part from the video.
All right.
But
okay.
Older GTRs like the R32s had passive rear steering and things like that. I believe there was even I want to say the old Acura Integras. Very weird. It's a very weird older style because it's more linkages to brake.
Absolutely,
and what ends up
definitely,
happening is it's a very unreliable system. And the FC RX-7 at the top trims had a very, very, very minimal rear wheel steering. It would angle the wheels a little bit, but they ended up going out all the time. Okay. And so it was basically like a bushing system. And so people just swap those out for solid bushings and delete that system day one because it hasn't worked since the 90s, much like the power seat belts that RX-7s came with. Did you ever have a car with power seat belts?
I rode in cars.
Yeah,
with power seat belts.
I've reviewed a handful.
And the seatbelt goes.
Yeah, funny story about that.
Okay.
Whenever I review a car, I put my
lapel mic.
I put my lapel mic on the seatbelt, and I'll forget about it, of course. And I turned a Mazda 626 off, and I watch my microphone pull out of my shirt and start going up and over me towards the windshield. Yeah. And it's like that scene in Monsters, Inc. where the doors go up, and you're just watching the door zip away.
Yeah,
but it was my microphone, and it was tugging out of the receiver.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. But anyway, so... Yes, this thing has rear wheel steering.
I love when you have to beg technology. Sometimes you have to beg. Oh, please don't. No, please don't. Don't.
Speaking of which, are we still recording?
Let me check it.
Okay.
It looks like we are. Yes, we are still recording.
The last thing I'll say about the flip car, besides it being really cool, and they did build a handful of them, completely custom cars. One of the actors was like, "It's based on an F1 car." It's just low. It's not really based on an F1 car.
It is low, though. I mean,
the thing that really bothers me, and Paul Walker says this in the video. Yeah, he's like, we don't even know what that thing was. He's like, or someone was like, it sounds different, and Paul Walker goes, yeah, it's a turbo diesel.
Yes, I remember him saying that.
You can, if anyone has ever seen an LS engine, seeing that car, you automatically know it's an LS engine. The intake manifold on an LS engine is so specific. It's very iconic to the LS. The intake is it's a black piece of plastic, and it looks like it's folding onto itself as it goes down the cylinders.
Okay.
It looks very cool. It looks like it's sort of like a Whipple sort of intake. Yeah. Even though it's just a regular intake. But you see that in multiple shots. I'm like, oh, it's an LS. That's really cool because makes great power.
Yeah, so you immediately knew it was an
100%.
LS.
And then afterwards, Paul Walker's like, yeah, it's a turbo diesel. And I'm like, no, it's not. First of all, turbo diesels are not that fast. Yeah. They make tons of torque, but they're not fast. Usually.
All right.
And second of all, it sounds very different. And they did use the sounds from an F1 car.
They did?
Yeah, I mean, this thing was revving so high. Wow. LS engines top out at 6,000 RPM.
Oh, okay.
If you're talking about an LS7, which this definitely wasn't, they top out at 7,000 RPM, which driving a V8 at 7,000 RPM is terrifying. But F1 engines are limited to 15,000 RPM.
Oh.
So they are not sounding anywhere near this car. So... yeah, that was my little beef with that, is that Paul Walker was like, oh, it's a turbo diesel. No, it's not. Yeah,
that takes the E85.
Yeah.
E85. How do you know? That? No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, you could smell it. E85 has a smell.
It does it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a sweet smell almost. And you can tell when a car is running on E.
Well, because it's made of corn, right? I mean,
right. You know what it actually smells like?
What?
It smells like
victory.
Lightly scented hand sanitizer.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's very weird.
You smell that smell? Yeah, it was from the Apocalypse Now.
Oh,
smell that smell. That
I haven't
napalm
seen
smell?
Apocalypse Now.
Fine.
I love napalm in the morning.
I love smelling
napalm.
napalm.
What were your notes before we get to trivia?
So my notes were, basically, there's one scene
Yeah.
where Dominic is going out and racing, and I think this was, I don't know if it was the Superbird or not, but he's racing Letty.
Oh, do you also like that every race announcer announces where they are?
Yes!
This is London, baby.
Yes.
And the last time they're like, this is Brazil.
Right.
And it's like, all right.
Brazil!
I hope
Welcome
one time.
to Brazil!
Yeah. I hope one time they're like, welcome to Peoria, Illinois.
Welcome to Lyle!
Our main export is depression. Like, why did they
I know.
always announce that they're like, this is ad place.
Right. Well, because this is insert name here.
They should have just done a title.
I know.
A title. Like, just do London. At the bottom left.
This is the place underneath me with the title underneath.
You're
the
slowly slipping into Jamaican.
I think
This is Jamaica, man.
This is Jamaica, man. We race around the island.
And in bobsleds.
Right.
Shout out to Cool
No,
Runnings
but
and John Candy.
Exactly. I know. I've never seen the movie, but I want to see.
Wait,
it.
really?
Oh yeah, I haven't.
Oh, wow.
I've not seen the movie. I do want to see that movie because I think it's very cool. But no, you're right. That is one of the things. No, one of the things that really drives me crazy is
Sorry,
like,
street race scene.
Yeah, you totally derailed my entire
100%.
thing. 100% there. So he does the street race with Letty, and he has this big moment, and whatever, he's talking
Yeah.
to her. And then Shaw shows up. And Shaw's like, yeah, I'm going to come and talk to you because nobody else is around. And something like he goes, and I could take you out anytime or whatever. And then a red dot appears on Dominic Toretto's chest,
Yeah.
right? Like someone's got a scope on him.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, I get that. I've seen that in other movies. That's fine, whatever. Then Dominic's like, yeah, whatever. And all of a sudden, Shaw has a red dot on his chest. And he looks down, and he's like, let me guess, it's Hobbs, or something like
Yeah.
that, right? So now, let's think about that a second. Hobbs has been trying to get Shaw for a long time. He now literally has him in his sights
Yeah.
with a laser scope. He could have shot him in the shoulder,
Yeah.
disabled him, walked down casually,
Yeah.
maybe grabbed a hot dog along the way or something to eat. Plenty of time to go down, pick up Shaw, and say, okay, now you're arrested.
Yeah.
Instead, he's just like, yeah, someday we'll get him. I'm like, what do you mean someday?
Yeah.
You literally had him
You
in your
have
sights.
him.
You could have
Also-
shot him in the leg, in the shoulder.
If I'm at that car meet and
Yeah.
I'm working on my RX-7,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, those guys have red dots on their chest. All right, time to go home, guys. I'm off. I'm gone.
No, but it wasn't. That was after. But this was afterwards. This was in a secluded place. It
Oh,
wasn't. No,
okay.
it wasn't in. It was not in the car meet.
Now I know which scene.
remember?
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
So it was like in some.
I'll be honest. I checked
Dark-
out for most of this movie. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know
Did
what?
you actually see this movie? No,
I
know
did
you I know
see
you
this movie.
Yeah.
Also playing Minecraft. So just to be
All
fair,
right, that's fair. That is fair.
was I playing Minecraft?
So.
You know what? No. I was editing a Pontiac Solstice review,
Oh, that's fair.
which hopefully, should be out by the time this comes out. But
And that was actually interesting. What you told me about that, which I will not spoil, but what you told me about that,
you
it
can
was
spoil
very.
it. It'll be out by
No,
now.
it's very interesting about the about
trunk?
about the hood or the
Designer?
top.
Oh, the top.
is-
Oh, yeah.
Putting the top up and down is very difficult.
On
So
a Pontiac Solstice, it's god awful. God awful.
yeah, so that was to me
Mm-hmm.
in the movie though one of the things where I went, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how are you doing this? Like, how do you allow this to happen? Where you literally have your gun pointed at the guy that you're after.
Mm-hmm.
You literally could have shot him in the leg or something, and no, there's nothing. He just, and he lifts the gun up, and some
Yeah.
other day we'll get him. What? Why not? Why
Yeah.
don't you just take him out then? Why don't you just shoot him in the leg, and then you go and take him in for questioning? And
I guess they would have shot Vin Diesel then, if he had his sniper out.
maybe, but he's worth it. Like, take out Dom
Yeah.
to get the other guy.
Get
you know?
Dom
It's
to
like-
duck.
Right,
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
so
Pretty
yeah,
dumb.
something. It was kind of dumb that they did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get the reason why they do stuff like that, but I did think it was actually really funny that Tyrese's character. What is Tyrese's character's name? I can only think of
Roman.
it as Roman.
Roman
So
Pierce.
Roman, which I love the character of Roman. And it was a fun thing to put in the movie, of course. But then Roman's like trying to get, Shaw or Hobbs is talking about what's going on. And Roman's like, hey, anybody got some change? Because I want to get some candy. And Hobbs just literally shoots the candy machine and all the candy falls out. And he's like, oh, yeah, cool, great.
On the house, yeah.
Yeah, it's out of the house. And he's like, yeah, great, cool. I go over there.
That's how I stay a millionaire. He's like, bro, you're a millionaire and you're asking for change? He's like, that's how I stay a millionaire.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was, and then the other thing was you're talking about the money and being millionaires. And so you had Ludacris, who was, I guess he's Ludacris in every universe that you can think of because he's Tej, but it's also Tej Ludacris something else.
Right.
If you watch the titles, the end credits. But I think with him it was fun. Of course, he goes to the car show and the guy goes, well, the guy's very snobby. Well, you don't, obviously you don't have any money to buy cars, so you should just leave. Well, that was so blatantly obvious that they were going to play that guy up as being the pompous jerk.
Yeah.
And then later on, you see him with the cars, and I thought it was fun to say, what's the point of being a millionaire if you can't buy the cars?
Yeah.
So he buys the cars legit, and then he makes the guy strip down, take off his shirt.
I thought that was such an unnecessary scene.
It was completely unnecessary, but it was a payoff to the guy being a jerk to him.
Yeah.
And then him being able to say, yeah, I'm going to make you pay for the fact that you treated me like an a-hole because so many people, and it's true in life that people, look down on other people, especially when you enter like a hoity-toity place.
Right.
Although I've never entered any place like that ever, but where they look down on you and then you get your comeuppance with them, and when you're like, yeah, I actually have money or whatever. So that was his way. Yeah, it was contrived, very much so. And it was like definitely something that was completely... Yeah, I could see it coming and all that stuff. But they did it for a reason. They did it for some laughs. And the guy was way over the top as far as being the hoity-toity salesman of the cars and stuff. So that was whatever. But there were some fun things in it that I thought, okay, that's kind of a neat way to do it.
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact that he shot the candy machine and he's like, it's on the house. And then Roman's like, okay, cool. I mean, and he was really, hey, it's pretty neat. And he's like, and they come back to it in a couple scenes later and he's like picking glass out of the candy.
That's pretty good.
It was pretty good. I liked that. That was pretty clever. That was pretty fun. So yeah, that was good. But
also, did you like how they brought back when Brian goes back to the U.S. as a prisoner to go talk to Braga, who they brought back Braga,
yes.
Of course.
He's not dead, so yeah.
They didn't kill him in the first. They didn't kill him, though. But they also brought back the officer that he worked with in Los Angeles, which was kind of cool.
He broke his nose, right.
Yeah.
And in the original one, he broke his nose, and yes. And it was cool that he brought him back.
It was kind of cool to see him. But also, he was like, oh, but like, you're going to feel so good when we take down Shaw. And like, they never re-upped with that guy. Like,
no.
I hope he felt good about it then.
Yeah, I mean, it was, Shaw dies. I mean, right? I mean, Shaw gets sucked out of the
Well, in the seventh one, he's in a hospital bed, so...
Is he?
Yes.
Jeez.
I don't know if he actually dies.
No one dies.
I don't know if he dies.
Okay, so in Fast and Furious, no one dies. Evidently.
Well, there's a scene with Jason Statham going to visit with his brother, and he's in a hospital bed, and he's all burnt up. It's really gruesome. It's like Two-Face from Batman.
Oh, wow.
That's
pretty. That's
the same. Like
gruesome.
the whole body, too.
Yeah.
I think he does end up dying.
It was kind of like your skin that burned off.
Today. Shout out.
Shout out to your skin.
Shout out to my skin that got burned off.
Okay, so no one ever dies then. Vince is somewhere because Vince didn't die.
Probably,
Nobody died. Oh, and so and Gal Gadot, her character doesn't.
I
die.
hope she gets revived at some point. That'd be cool in the 10th one if she got revived because Han got revived.
Yeah.
Revive his girlfriend so he can be happy.
Yeah, that would be.
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool if they they were like on an island somewhere or something, and that. Yeah.
Did you have more notes, or do you want to get into trivia?
Let's get into trivia.
Okay. I gotta reload it because my phone is dying and it keeps shutting off.
All right, and we're still
recording.
We're still
recording.
We're
still hearing our voices.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is brought to you by, but in no way sponsored by, IMDb. Man, my nose is so itchy tonight. Yeah. It feels like there's something stuck in it, but I don't know. Okay. So from IMDb,
All right.
When Hobbs arrives at the barbecue, Roman remarks that they better hide the baby oil, to which Hobbs replies, "You better hide that big-ass forehead." Hobbs' line was improvised by Dwayne Johnson, so Ludacris spitting out his drink and Tyrese Gibson being at a loss for words were both spontaneous and genuine reactions.
That's pretty cool. And
that's a really cool one.
They actually mentioned baby oil twice in
Yeah.
that movie. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
But they mentioned it like the first time he's like, "Oh, here comes Hobbs. I smell baby oil," or something like that.
I smell baby oil. Hobbs wants to hear.
And then the second time is when they're at the barbecue.
Yeah.
And he talks about, "Oh, better hide your baby oil."
Which also, they're all barbecuing at the house, right?
Yes,
1321 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Hobbs shows up to the party to serve them all the papers that their citizenship is reinstated or whatever, right?
Okay, yeah.
That their names are cleared.
Yeah.
So they were partying at the house before their names were like officially
sure,
cleared.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to get that straight.
It's the Fast and Furious universe. They can do whatever.
Okay, just to be
Physics don't matter. Life doesn't matter. People come and go. People die. People live. Yeah, it's crazy.
But Brian had to show up in a orange jumpsuit just to come back onto U.S. Crown.
Right, exactly. And then that whole thing was.
They should have all been in orange jumpsuits at the barbecue.
That would have been good. I would have liked that. That would have been good. Yeah, definitely.
Next up, in the scene in London where Dom is racing Letty, there is a small Asian boy who is standing watching the race from a classic London double-decker red street bus. The same kid was shown watching Dom and Brian when they pulled the safe in the previous movie Fast 5. This is Justin Lin's son. So the director put his son in Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6.
I do remember that. I do remember the kid.
It's just a little kid watching, which is like a cool dad
it's a
thing
cool
to do.
thing. Yeah.
Show up to set one day and get to be in an action movie that's like one of the highest regarded action movies.
Yeah, that is cool. But you could always, well, not only could you say I was in it, but yeah, your dad directed it. So I mean,
that's super cool. I'm sure that kid's doing okay.
Yeah, It's, all right.
Hobbs, portrayed by Dwayne Johnson, is mocked 3 times as a different member of the Avengers. He is verbally referred to as the Hulk and Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
And on the third, he is seen on a phone screen caller ID as the Samoan Thor.
Oh, that's right. I
Which is
forgot
pretty
about
funny.
that. I forgot about that. That is absolutely right. It's the Samoan Thor.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
good. Also,
that is
I
very
want to
good.
bring that up because I'm like, I hope the Fast and Furious somehow moves into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That would be pretty hilarious. They're pretty much getting there with the whole everything is out there, not really realistic kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely.
The chase scene was originally planned to be created via CGI, but director Justin Lin insisted that it had to be done practically with some post-production enhancements.
Yeah, he was very big about. In fact, if you watch the extras,
the
and the
featurette.
DVD, the featurette, the DVD extras, he's very big on doing a lot of
and
practicals.
there was someone else who was talking about it too. I watched another featurette where he was like, if you see a car going through a building, that car is going through a building. Like, they crash a lot of cars.
Yeah, definitely.
The next one. Allegedly, more than 100 cars were crashed, wrecked, or otherwise destroyed in the process of filming.
Well, I could totally
100
get
cars.
that, yeah. So,
that guy who talked about it was Dennis McCarthy. He's in the next trivia fact. Dennis McCarthy, the man behind building the vehicles used in the series, says that they used a whole fleet of BMW M5s in order to complete the one sequence. McCarthy also said that we pretty much destroyed every single one later on in other scenes. Cars that appear on screen in close-ups or action shots are not BMW E60 M5s. So they
really?
Yeah, so they just
oh.
they destroyed them in multiple different ways.
Okay,
So
well,
that
that's
was
cool.
This was originally conceived as 2 movies. The first one ending with the conclusion of a tank scene, and the second one ending with the conclusion of the plane scene. Which makes sense why this movie felt so long.
Yeah, and those were 2 very big, major scenes. Like, really big.
Yeah.
You got a tank, and then you got a giant plane, which, by the way, there was no full... he said we couldn't get a full-size plane of that size, so they literally built pieces of it.
Right.
And he said in between all this stuff, which was pretty awesome that you could build something that truly does look like a plane and stuff. And you had all the different set pieces and stuff. He said by the time we did it, we pretty much built the plane.
Yeah.
They certainly couldn't get a real one It's a special kind of plane. Nick knows
interesting.
about
Yeah,
it. But I asked him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, It's funny too because that particular company, can't think of the name. That particular company is both an airline and a plane company. So it's as if think if Boeing had an airlines. If you went on to Boeing Airlines, but also Boeing made planes. That's the way. This company
interesting.
Is. It's a Russian company.
Interesting.
So pretty interesting.
Yeah. The Dodge Daytona that Vin Diesel is driving was made custom. So the red Daytona that we were talking about, the Superbird.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The actual car used in production was rebuilt by Dennis McCarthy and his team from an old $5,000 piece of junk that they first acquired. So that was a completely custom, completely overhauled car.
It's fun,
which is super cool. This is interesting to me.
Yeah.
An early leaked version of the Super Bowl television spot showed the title as Furious 6 as the title of the film. The later released teaser poster and television spot showed the final title of the film. Justin Lin clarified that Universal Studios made the decision to promote the film as Fast 6 or Furious 6, but the official title is Fast and Furious 6. So that's why I keep getting...
Really?
I keep getting mixed up calling this Furious 6.
Right.
Because,
I've seen it as Furious
perfect
6.
Mandela effect.
Yeah. Howie Mandela, by the way.
Perfect Howie Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Is that
trademark 2020.
I remembered it as Furious 6 because it was Fast 5, Furious 6, and I was like, oh, together they make Fast and Furious.
Right.
And so it was promoted to me in that way, but then came out differently, and I didn't remember the way it came out. So
that's very weird. But that is a Howie Mandela effect.
And the last one is just the 13-minute runway chase at the end of the film would make the runway approximately 18 miles long. So that was my final trivia fact there.
Yeah, that is. So to me, obviously, that scene is just so over the top, incredible, and so truly unbelievable. I mean, you've got cars at high speeds, literally on both sides of the plane, just hanging off of the plane.
Yeah.
And the dynamics of that plane trying to take off. I mean, and the jets and the power. I mean, it just everything about that scene. It's like, oh my gosh,
very over the top,
way over, and the tank too. I mean, the tank to be able to do what it did. I mean, it was a cool looking tank at the time, but it really, like, it was crashing through stuff. Yeah, okay, it's crashing through stuff. It's a tank and all that, but then all of the physics that went into that whole thing, with Dom jumping through the air and wow. I mean, okay.
Yeah, I told you after the 4, it starts going downhill with the physics. So, as we're wrapping up here, do you have any final thoughts? Or
so good question. It was a fun movie, fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, like all of them, and just because they get more and more kind of like the James Bond, where it's so over the top that you go, it's fun to watch. And the music is great, and it's fun and all that.
It's interesting to see how they could possibly reel it back in.
Right.
Or I think it's just a lost cause at this point, that it's just an action movie now.
It's action movie. It's going to get bigger and bigger, and they're super spies or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting when we go back to this next year for Fast February or whatever.
2023.
2023, which is going to be crazy to probably do as many, probably finish up.
Because we have 7, 8, 9, and then hopefully 10 would be out by then, maybe,
probably.
or
we'll
maybe
see.
not.
Yeah, we'll see.
We can fit some other Fast and Furious one in there too.
We can find the Taco Run or whatever that is, the one in between.
Or the Justin Lin film that has Han in it. We could do that too.
Oh yeah, that's right. We could do that one too. You could take a look at that and see.
So
whatever, we'll take care of that.
We'll figure it out next year.
So anyway, but so would you change channel?
Yes.
Wow, you would change the channel.
I don't really care for this movie all this much.
Oh yeah, I know you don't.
It's just like there's not too much memorable stuff. It was fun to go back and watch it. It was fun to see the unveiling of the flip car.
Yes. I think the flip car is very cool. The flip car was really a neat idea.
I forgot the whole chase sequence with the M5s. I love M5s.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
I really, really do. I'm a big BMW fan, so that was fun.
Definitely.
But other than those two things, I just there wasn't much redeeming of this movie.
Yeah. So I know.
Unlike the next movie, the 7th movie, I rewatched the ending the other day.
Did you?
Of Fast and Furious 7, and I teared up again, just like I did the first time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
It's like, I forgot how good the ending is.
Yeah, so we will definitely, I mean, that's the first one we'll start it with.
Yeah, it's funny because I think Fast and Furious 7 has like, the ending of that is like one of the best pieces of cinema ever.
Yeah.
And it's just bookended by a series of garbage on either side.
Yeah, well,
so
you got that.
But what about you? Would you change the channel?
I would. I would actually. I would not change the channel, just because I want to hear Vin Diesel say,
I don't have friends. I got family.
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 Family?
Family. Family.
Your family. I don't have friends.
Is it looping now?
I think it's.
Oh no.
But anyway, that's
Okay.
right. But no, there's. He says family a lot. So
Yeah,
he
this
talks
is-
about family. Yeah.
Family is ramped up in this one
Big
too.
time.
Fast
Big
5 is where
time.
we start to really see that. But
And
this is like even Hobbs is like, I know you guys are family. I know
Right,
you got your family.
yeah.
This is family.
I
And
know-
family that.
Well, and hence the audio clip there, because really the reality of that too is that it even starts out with family, and I think it was kind of clever where the last movie they were zipping around in the cars, they were chasing each other. Dom and Brian
yeah.
were
was
having
nice,
a car race.
It was nice that this movie started on that exact car race.
Started on the car race, but it made you think that they were continuing the car race from the previous movie, but they weren't, because they were racing to the hospital to get his wife because she was having the baby.
Yeah.
So really, it was taking you through time. So that actually was pretty clever. I have to say, it was pretty
I hope someone stitches these together with with the end, because they do
Yeah.
end almost perfectly with the first scenes
Do
of the
they?
next ones.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty cool to see
but
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I actually would not change the channel, but I wouldn't sit down and watch it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't change the channel.
Yeah.
I would just have it on in the background. Again, not one of the movies I would sit down and watch, because it was a lot of fun fluff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what it was to me. It wasn't like this, great stuff.
Also,
So anyway, yeah,
shout
yeah.
out to the Jensen Interceptor that Letty drives. It's a cool
Oh,
old
yeah,
Jensen
that's
old.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
an old British car, actually. We
That's
never
cool.
got him
with
yet.
Continental wheels. He's got Continental wheels.
Toyo Proxy T100.
That's what Dom says. Yeah.
Totally forgot it. The part where he goes to the guy and he's like, I need to find who sold this bullet. I was
Yes!
like, come on.
Yes,
This guy
that's
just
right.
thinks that everything
Yes.
sold is super specific.
Yes. Yeah.
He could trace tires to a single person. He could trace a bullet to a single person.
Not only
Also,
that-
why is Letty out here buying her own bullets?
Right.
Wouldn't that be provided in the
Right.
workplace?
I think that would be provided by the company. So and not only that, it's a very, very specific bullet. Okay. And not only that, he pulls it out of his shoulder and it's in one piece.
Yeah.
Now, most of the time, bullets crumple up, the actual bullet part.
or shred or whatever. Yeah.
Or whatever. It was pretty perfect looking. And then Brian was able to recognize that, like, almost off the cuff, although he did some research.
Yeah.
He did recognize it. So it was like, okay, super specific again. And then, actually, honestly, maybe I missed this. What was the point of the scene of them finding the gun pawn shop that sold the bullets? What was the point? That led to nothing.
Yeah,
that
I can't tell you.
It just allowed them to know that Letty went in there and bought the bullets from that guy. They didn't
Yeah.
go anywhere with that information.
They should have just added a shot of Vin Diesel going, nice. Good to know.
Good.
Also,
Thanks.
Sorry, I'm
Yep.
starting to
No.
now remember stuff, of course, as
all
we're
right,
at the
no,
end.
it's- right, fine.
The scene where Shaw blows up his own underground hideout as he's leaving.
Yeah.
You know how much time and effort it would have been to set up those charges?
Right.
You know what I was thinking about? Like, as he was pulling out, I was like, probably some poor intern. They probably had so many, like, meetings of, like,
Right.
what explosives
Yeah,
to use.
right.
And, like, we were just talking about technology at dinner tonight, how
yeah.
my Wi-Fi light bulbs in my room never
It's
work.
No.
What kind of triggering system are they using? Is it over Wi-Fi,
Right.
Bluetooth?
Right.
What is,
Yeah.
And, like, how is it all timed? It's
Alexa, blow up my blow up
Alexa, destroy our layer. Yeah. Hey.
Oh.
So
Anyway, yeah.
yeah,
Looks
I
like-
would not. I would change the channel. This is
right,
one of
you
my
would
least
change it.
favorites of
All
the
right.
series. So.
All right, you got it. We change the channel. All
What's our next movie now
Next
that we actually
movie.
get to get out of the
Next-
Fast and Furious
Next movie. So we've
hood over our eyes?
Yeah, we've done 4 extremely popular movies. Everyone in the world has seen these 4 movies, I think, probably, whatever. Lots on. So this is going to be a very different movie. Poker Run. You were the one who bought it for me. You You bought it for me
so
for
soon,
Christmas.
you're gonna make me do this so
Yes,
soon.
I am gonna make you do this.
Yeah.
So Christmas comes.
Yeah.
And you bought me. As my gift, I open this up, and it's Christmas Run by John Schneider.
It is not a sequel, but it's a second
not
film by
Christmas,
John
it's
Schneider.
Poker Run.
Right.
Run, yeah.
Christmas Cars.
Yes.
We did for Christmas.
Yes.
It's a John Schneider film. He made another movie called Poker Run.
He sure did.
So we're going to be watching and reviewing that one now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
That's
You were the one who
painful.
bought
Yeah.
it. You.
I
we're
do
gonna
have.
watch it.
I have footage of you opening it on
Do you?
Christmas. Yeah, so I'm going to toss that into the next episode when we review
Very
it.
cool.
So,
Very cool.
that's one you're going to want to check out on YouTube. But
yeah, definitely. So yes, we are going to do Poker Run because it's I don't know where you can get it. You have to buy. The
you have to buy
DVD.
it from JohnSchneider.com,
Yeah,
.com, I believe.
So yeah, we'll do that next.
Yes.
And that will be our kind of a strange. We try to do some that you might not have seen,
Right.
and then some that you have seen, obviously, so that you can watch those. But it'll be fun to see how this movie goes.
We will definitely see.
It might be, it might be very painful. But anyway, all right.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If
Yes.
you're listening on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, check us out on Spotify, iTunes. I forget all the places that we're pretty much anywhere you get podcasts, you can find our show.
Yep.
Every Saturday morning,
Yep.
8 a.m. Central Time. I think that's pretty much it. It didn't delete it, did it?
No, I didn't delete it, but this is okay. So this is the end. All right. Well, I was just gonna.
In the most anticlimactic ending ever, you
It
accidentally
was.
turned it
I
off
lsupposed
the
turned it off.
recording
I turned
before
off,
it was supposed to.
I did the stop.
Um,
I didn't even do the pause. But
Technical
so anyway, this is what I
difficulties
wanted
should
to
be
do.
the
This
sub.
is-
Oh, there it is.
this was going to be our goodbye.
Okay. Technical difficulties should be the
All right,
subtext of this
yeah.
podcast.
All right.
But I guess we'll catch you next time.
All right. Bye bye.